Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today with the amazing Francesca Tandoi, as you can see. Hi,
Hello,
Francesca.
hello everybody. Hello, Ale.
Francesca is an incredible piano player, jazz piano player, and a rising jazz star. If you don't know her, you should definitely check her out. She's just released a new album, which we will talk about later. And so I'm looking forward to having this discussion with Francesca. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel. So, Francesca, thank you for agreeing to do this little interview with me. How are you doing
Thank
today?
you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. Really, really happy to be here with you and have this chat about music.
Amazing. So let's start from the very beginning. Obviously, you're an incredible jazz pianist today.
Thank
But
you.
how did it start? Did you start with classical music and then switch to jazz? How are your first years of piano playing? How do they look like?
Okay, so first of all, I want to tell this little story of how I came across music and passion for music and jazz music because that was even before starting to play the piano. So I got from my grandma like a little radio, old radio, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. And at night, in the evening, I used to, switch on the radio and look for some, music. So one night, I came across this radio channel that was playing this amazing music, which I didn't know which kind of music was. And so I went to my mom, and then I asked her like, which kind of music is that? I really love it. And my mom, she was like, this is jazz music. And then right away I said, Mom, I want to be a jazz piano player. And my mom, of course, she started to laugh. And then she was like, yeah, well, we talk about it later. And since then, I was begging her every day, please let me be a jazz piano player. I don't know why. I mean, I really don't know why, up to the point that my mom and my parents they just said, okay, you can go and have piano lessons, but of course, you should start from the basics. And as almost all the young piano players do, I started with classical music. And I've been studying classical music for quite some years, and then but jazz was always there. So I started to buy some records. My parents also, they were kind of supporting me in that. So they also started to buy some records for me, although they were never much into music, never much into jazz. And they actually learned together with me. Now they really like jazz music, but they never really cared about it before. And so by the time I was 15, I already had a quite good jazz records collection, and I switched to jazz piano teacher. So I studied with him for a couple of years, and then I had my biggest lesson. I went directly on stage playing at jam sessions, and then I started very very early to play with people, like to perform in public
Yeah.
in Rome, which is my native city. So my hometown, sorry. And yeah, so that's the story basically. So I jazz was always there. I always had this.
That's amazing. Do you
Yeah.
remember which one was the first record that you wanted to get?
So actually, I didn't know because for me everything was new. So the
Yeah.
first record I got was like a compilation, of course, from
Nice.
yeah, it was this compilation coming with magazines. So
Ah,
my
okay.
parents,
That's
yeah,
very cool.
and
Yeah.
from there actually, so it was like was yeah, I mean, I started to discover some artists
Yeah.
through the compilations, but the very first record that really impressed me and got to me and was my light in the dark was "You Must Believe in Spring" by Bill Evans.
I love the 11s.
Yeah. So that for me was like, okay, yeah, that's it. That's it. I really want to be jazz piano. I mean, I already knew, but and I could not stop. I remember this was a little bit obsessive because I could not stop listening to that record. So I was going to sleep with the earphones. I was going to school with earphones. I was like
Yeah.
listening literally 24/7, and yeah, just it was just amazing.
Funny enough, I play drums obviously, and the first jazz record that I've ever listened to that got me hooked into jazz is Portrait in Jazz by Bill Evans.
Oh yeah, also that was my second one.
Oh,
That was my
really?
second
Yeah,
one, and
it's a classic.
and
I love that
yes.
record. Absolutely. It's
Oh man,
incredible.
I got obsessed with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, reading about your story, I saw that then you went on to study in the Netherlands. You did both undergrad and master's degree, right?
Yes, I did bachelor, right? That's the and
Yeah.
master. I moved there like a couple of years after I graduated from high school. At first,
Hmm.
I tried to go to university as my parents actually wanted me to, but it didn't really work out because music was really my passion. So I had some friends that moved already there before me, like a couple of years before me. So
Hmm.
I went to The Hague. I knew the
Hmm.
school was really, really good. And in fact, it was. So I
Yeah.
did 4 years there. And 2 years, I earned my master degree in Rotterdam because I really wanted to study with a teacher that was teaching there. So,
Yeah.
and I lived in the Netherlands actually for 11 years, which is a
Oh, wow.
long time.
And then
Yeah.
you moved back to Italy after that.
Yeah, then I moved back to Italy. I think it was time for me, but Holland obviously is gonna be always my second home. I'm very
Yeah.
happy actually because I'm going back at the end of the month
Oh,
to
amazing.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm actually very, very happy. But I'm also happy to be back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so obviously, like in the jazz world, the Netherlands are known like a very good, like a great country to play and study jazz. Like,
Yeah.
what was so special about studying in the Netherlands? I assume like a lot of people from all over the world are coming as well, so probably a
Yeah.
lot of like influences from other countries and things like that. Is that accurate or?
Definitely, definitely. So first of all, compared to Italy, which is an amazing country, and we do have amazing schools. So I really, actually, I'm a big fan of Italy these days because, but let's say that compared to Italian conservatories, there's a longer tradition for jazz
Mm.
because they started with jazz departments back in the I don't know, I think end of 60s, beginning of 70s.
Oh,
So
wow.
which is this thing involves many countries of North Europe. Obviously, I think the very first department, as I learned recently, that introduced jazz in the conservatory was Graz in Austria, actually. But then you have it. You have these famous schools also in Copenhagen or in Holland.
Hmm.
So that was the first reason why I wanted to go there because obviously jazz is a music that you don't really learn in school. That's I was always aware of that. You learn it doing it. You learn it on the stage. You learn it playing with other people, listening to music. That's how you really learn it. But if you can also integrates this with some proper theory and very good teachers and like a good method, of course, doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a very good place to be for studying. And also, yes, as you said, the environment was so international and that was so inspiring. I met so many people from all over the world, which really this experience really enriched me a lot and changed my life because I was my mind just opened up a lot and
Yeah.
musically also when you meet all these people like it's very inspiring also for I I came across many different way of playing music and cultures and it
Yeah.
was really really beautiful.
When I was studying at Berkeley many years ago, I had exactly the same.
Well, Berkeley is even better. I
Yeah.
mean, it's much better. Yes, it's an
But probably
amazing
very
school.
similar because like you get so many people from all over the world getting there, and then I personally learned so much more from other students than from the teacher. Not saying that the teachers weren't great, but
That's true. Yeah,
like
yeah,
y-
same here.
yeah, you spend like half an hour or 1 hour a week with the teacher, but then you spend the rest 24/7 with other people. I had
Yeah,
like some guy from Mozambique. I have some guy from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, and like we were all hanging down, and then when you play, you can hear the influences that these
Yes,
guys bring in, even if we're playing the same jazz, right? But then, if someone is from Cuba, it's going to have a different flavor than someone from Italy, than someone from,
definitely.
you know,
Beautiful.
so I think all this melting pot is a great thing, and I'm glad that also other schools have it, because it really opened up my own mind as well, in terms of
Yeah,
music
yeah,
and
definitely.
culturally. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to something else. I don't wanna take over the interview.
No, no.
But so, for example, when I listen to you, I hear a lot of great lines, and obviously you got mad chops, which is incredible. Is it fair to say that maybe in your influences, Oscar Peterson has played a role?
Yeah, definitely has played a
Yeah.
role. I have definitely. I don't say out loud anymore that I'm a big fan of Oscar Peterson, because
Oh,
some people, they said, "Ah, she plays like Oscar Peterson," which first of all is not true, because it's not possible to even get
yeah.
close to Oscar Peterson. And second, it kind of put a mark on me, like, oh yeah, she's the Oscar Peterson, like. She just does that style, and she's obsessed with that style, which is not entirely true. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the piano players I love the most. Actually, it was
Yeah.
one of the piano players I discovered. No, how do we say it? Like, I discovered him quite later than others. Like I
Ah,
was at
okay.
first I was listening a lot to Bill Evans, as I told you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I listen a lot to Keith Jarrett. Before getting there, like my big loves, I listen to Red Garland, I listen to Wynton Kelly, I listen to Chick Corea, and
Mm-hmm.
later in my 20s, I came across Oscar Peterson. I have to say that I was like,
That's
whoa.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really love it. I mean, if I'm a little bit sad and I wanna be happy again, I just put on Oscar Peterson. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure. So I think it's a very happy music, very deep also, very very
Yeah.
deep. But on the other hand, also very happy, very sparkling. And sometimes I like to, especially on the social media, you know, I like to, how to say, not to imitate, but
Pay tribute.
to pay a tribute. But my purpose is definitely, as many other people, musicians' purpose is to find my own voice.
Yeah.
And really, so to play more and more my own music and to find my own voice. And I'm perfectly aware that we are in 2024, and that music is fantastic, but jazz is like it's always evolving. So I
Yeah.
really hope to be good enough to evolve myself also, and
Yeah.
be always.
I think this is a very interesting point as well, because obviously, as jazz students and jazz lovers, we know that learning the tradition is very important. But then, how do you take the tradition, but don't become the tradition, but still become yourself and get into the next level? What do you
uh,
think is the process there?
that's very very hard, actually. I'm still I'm
Yeah.
still wondering, because yeah, I have to say that I really like the tradition, and I don't want to get too far from that, because
Hmm.
it's my own taste. It's that's what I really like. And
Yeah.
so let's say that as an artist, my purpose is to, when I listen to a Oscar Peterson record, let's say, I get this amazing feeling. So I would love to give something like that to my audience. So I like to
And you
to
do.
yeah, well, I really hope to give this energy, and to give this happiness, and also to give this depth depth
Depth.
depth.
Yes.
Yes. And so in this sense, I mean, I don't try to imitate that kind of sound, but I get very much inspired, and it's very difficult to do it in your own personal way.
Mhm.
That's very difficult. So for
Is it
me,
something that you think about actively, or you just flow with it?
I flow with it. So when I play, I don't think about it, but I'm busy with these thoughts a lot, because
Yeah.
I want to write my own music, and I do write my own music. And sometimes my own music goes in a total different direction than what I like to listen to. It's so strange. And so sometimes I think, how do I, yeah, I don't know. It's a very difficult subject. Let's say that I'm trying slowly to find myself. And I really hope to get to that point. But if you play in a certain way or certain phrases, or it's difficult not to sound like your heroes, of course. But to
Yeah.
say something new, to create a sound, I mean, only very, very few people. I was talking with a friend a few days ago. I was like, in the last 20 years, I think very few people created a new sound. And one of these people is Brad Meldau on the piano, I think. He really created a sound. And yeah, but this is just for few, very
Yeah.
few. I mean, I wish I could create a new sound, and I think it would be my lifetime mission. Maybe one day I will create a sound too, but I don't know. Yeah, for now I try to. Yeah, it's difficult.
That's a great goal to have, though. I guess, the famous saying that they say it's not the goal, but the journey that it's important, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. It's definitely the journey. It's definitely the journey. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is amazing. I know that, you just talked about writing your own music, and I know that you just released a new album called Bop Web. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how did how did you start writing about, songs on this album, like the process? Tell us a little bit about this new album.
Okay, so this new album was like was recorded during a tour. So we were having a
Okay.
tour with this trio, and we had a day off. And we were like, what do we do this day off? Let's just, let's go to the studio and record some new songs. So it was like, there was no like purpose, let's make it an album, it's gonna be an album. Let's go there and let's make a picture of this afternoon. And I had some new material. I've been writing songs for like the last couple of months. But actually randomly, like when I write a song, I have to say that the song just comes to me. I don't need to look
Oh,
for it.
wow.
Yeah, that's really special. It just comes to me. If it comes. Otherwise, it doesn't come. For me, it's like if I sit on the piano and look for something, it's never gonna happen. Usually, the melodies comes to my mind. I start, thinking about it, singing a little bit. Then I sit on the piano, and most of the time, the melody and the harmony is already there. It's very, actually, it's
That's
very
pretty
special
cool.
and very easy, very easy because I don't have to do nothing.
So, do
So,
you like hear the sounds like is
yeah,
like in your head, and then you're like,
yeah,
okay, okay, that's how it's gonna sound, right? Is that how? That's pretty cool.
yeah, big time. I really hear it. I mean, it just comes, goes to
Yeah,
my mind, and then the only thing I do, I just put it on the piano, but the song already exists somewhere.
that's pretty cool.
That's cool. That's cool, and that's
Yeah,
easy. So sometimes, I try to force the process sometimes because I want to write some new music. I sit on the piano for like 3 hours, nothing comes,
yeah,
nothing. So, and that's exactly how these songs were born, because I had few songs that just came to me in the last couple of months, and I
yeah.
told to these guys, so guys, I do have like, I don't know, 6, 7 new songs. Let's just go and record. Okay, fine. Um, yeah, so we recorded in one afternoon, and we didn't know what to do with that. So we just, let it a little bit, how do you say, rest
Yeah.
there. And then we listened back and was like, yeah, well, sounds good. We could actually, make it
Release it. Yeah,
really, yeah,
that's
we could
good.
actually release it. And yeah, Bop Web is, I think, yeah, Bop Web, I wrote it maybe a year before actually. And we already played that in a concert.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos playing that one. It's a pretty cool song.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So, and this is it's built over the harmony of bebop, which is this composition by Dizzy Gillespie. So I always say it's my little humble tribute to Dizzy, and with a little modern touch. Yeah. So actually, this song could be my way of tribute the bebop language and the bebop compositions, because of
Yeah.
course it's my own thing. It's very much inspired by that, so I try to find my own sound in that fashion. That's it. Yeah, so we were wondering with the guys, how do we call this song? How do we call it? And then the bass player Mateusz Nikolajewski, he has YouTube channel called Bop Web. And then it was like, I have this YouTube channel. Shall we call it Bop Web? And then I was like, man, if we ever record the next album, it should be called Bop Web. And then that was it.
And that's the story of how he got 50% of your royalties.
No, actually not.
Just joking,
Yeah.
just joking.
Would be fair. Would be fair.
But so you were talking about being on tour, and I know you've been on like relentlessly on tour in the past few months. Like,
Yeah.
how is life on tour? Like, do you like it? What's the best country you visited? I know you were also, in many different countries all around the world recently. Like, what was good about touring, and how did you find the difference between the different audiences in the different countries?
Yeah, actually, many people ask me these questions about the audiences. I think I found very good audiences everywhere. I have to say that it was a very, very nice tour. We almost had all sold out.
Very good. It's
Very
always
good.
great.
And maybe there was one place that I really appreciated a lot. Was Poland. Because as in many East European countries, I saw many young people in the audience. So that's because, like jazz audience is usually not old, but, a bit more adult people.
Yeah.
And in Poland, I was very happy to see that were also some young people there. And we played in two beautiful places in Warsaw. What do you say?
I'm not sure actually, but I
Warsaw,
know what you mean.
okay.
Yeah, the capital,
no,
right?
the capital. I hope it's Warsaw. Warsaw.
Warsaw, yeah.
Yeah, it was a beautiful club, and also in Poznan. But we've been traveling all over Europe. So we went to Paris, also was great at Duke de Lombard. We had 4 shows there. Then we went to Berlin. Berlin was also a very nice place with a very nice audience.
In Germany, they love jazz.
Yeah, definitely. So I was happy with all the audiences. We went to Zagreb also, very nice people.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. I think that our show is very fun, to listen to. It's very accessible. So that's also what I think. I don't want to be cocky, but that's what makes people happy at the end, because
Yeah.
I had the feeling that some people go to jazz concert and they think, oh, let's try, let's see.
Yeah.
There's a bit of prejudice, like jazz is boring or something. And I think,
I know what you mean.
yeah, sometimes can be, music for musicians only. But I think because it's really my purpose, I really try to make the best of I really try to make it fun. I talk to the people. The program has a variety of songs, like really huge variety. We do, like, I don't know, Michael Jackson song rearranged with a Brazilian song. I sing a couple of songs. We do some couple of jazz standards. We make it very. I think it's fun. So people they seem to be happy at least. I hope they will they will come back or they will go back to a jazz concert.
I know you came to London recently. Unfortunately, I wasn't here, so I couldn't come to see you. But
Actually,
I'm hoping
I'm coming back June 14th.
Amazing!
I don't know.
So
if you're there,
I'll definitely make it then.
Great.
Yeah,
Great,
for sure.
Great.
This is great. I love how you talk about touring and the music, and the fact that you are thinking about entertaining people as well is great, because jazz has in the past years become, as you said, music for musicians. So it's kind of alienating regular people who are not musicians, right? And I think that the trick for music, and not just music, any art, is to be also entertaining. we want the audience to enjoy themselves, not to be a drag. Like if I go to a
Yes.
concert, I want to enjoy it. So obviously, you guys play amazing and you play very high level jazz, but it doesn't mean that it has to be boring for the audience.
No, I have to say that some artists they don't really care about it, which is their point of view.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's like that's what I do. I don't care. But we
yeah,
exist because these people are there in front of us. Clapping their
exactly.
hands, paying the tickets. These people, especially when you play in a week day, they've
Hmm.
been at work the whole day, just came back home, take a fast shower, take the car, and came to your concert. I mean, it's an effort, and you have to give them like something, like you really have to. Um, so for me, it's really a mission to to make them happy. I have to say, I think there was an interesting book, was like interviews to jazz musicians, and there was
Hmm.
this journalist who was asking um, to many famous jazz players. It's like, do you play for yourself, for your colleagues, or for the audience? And each one of these musicians, and I forgot the name now, but each one
Yeah.
of these musicians, they had different answer. Some people say, I play for myself because I want to be able to enjoy everything and I want to think about. Some people was like, yeah, I really want to play for my fellow musicians, to enjoy all together. And some people said, I want to play I mean, I want to play a bit for myself, a bit for them, obviously. But I think my first concern is the audience. And
Yeah.
because there is a lot of prejudice towards jazz and instrumental music in general, because people, they seem not to understand exactly what's going on. I think it's good that we kind of, how do you say, erase this prejudice. So
Yeah.
that's my that's my mission, I want to send them back home that they say, I just it's actually fun. I want to buy a record or I want to go to another concert. You know.
I think you hit the nail on the head because obviously the way I think about art is I don't have to understand it, I have to enjoy it, right? Or it
Yeah.
has to give me something. Even if I look at a painting, for example,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be like, oh, let's see, what technique did he use to paint this painting? Like you don't
Exactly.
go there like that. You want
Absolutely.
to enjoy. Then obviously, if the technique used for the painting or for the music it's hard, great, but you don't have to understand it to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
has to be
Absolutely.
enjoyable.
That's exactly like first time we listened to a jazz record. That I always
Yeah.
think about it. When I listened to this Bill Evans record and I was the whole day with my headphones. I really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I just
You
knew
just
that,
enjoyed it.
wow, that was so good. So yeah, exactly.
Actually, I would be curious to know because as a drummer, I have a few piano players that I really love. Bill Evans, Herbie Hancock is another one that I really love. Keith Jarrett that you mentioned. Who else? Chick Corea. I don't really understand what they do that makes me like them, but I'd be curious to know what you think about these players. Like, I can tell you, for example, certain things that I like about Herbie is the texture of sound that he gives, which I don't know what he does, but he has this kind of texture that he gives with the notes he plays. And Chick Corea, for example, like obviously, I'm not like a super high level jazz musician. I did study jazz for a long time, but I don't play as much anymore. As you know, I play mostly musical theater shows at the moment. Although I do like playing jazz every once in a while. But um, I think whenever I listen to a lot of piano players, I can follow along what they do. But when I hear Chick Corea play, I'm completely lost. Like he's the only guy that I listen to, and he's like I'm getting lost when I'm listening to him, and I love that. Keith Jarrett, instead, for example, I love his phrasing, and I don't know if you know the album Whisper Not. Um, he, he-
Um,
it's an
Maybe
incredible
yeah.
album, but he does this. I think I can't remember exactly the song, but he does this intro where he's doing this crazy pattern with the left hand and improvising some incredible stuff with the right hand, and I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm just curious to know what you think about some of these pianists, and maybe you can shed some light on why I like them so much.
Yeah,
And Bill
well,
Evans as well.
first of all, I like them very much too. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with you that there is something special about them. So what I think, as I was saying before, they all created a sound. They're all
Mm.
very, very personal. And sometimes that's what I always said to myself. Sometimes I also say to my students, I mean, I don't know if it's right to think this way, but I think there are, when you transcribe and you want to learn from records, there are musicians that you can transcribe and musicians that you can't transcribe. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think, and I hardly ever transcribed Chick Corea or Biancock or even Kid Jarrett, because it's like the musical world is so personal. So that's the thing; it's so personal, as well as their sound, as well as their touch. Uh, so personal that you can transcribe them, but you cannot even. I mean, you better listen and enjoy in order to, like to let their art involve you in this thing. But you should not really try to analyze them. That's. I think. Um, yeah, I think that. No, I was thinking who other piano players. There are many musicians like Coltrane, for instance. Coltrane is like, he plays so amazing phrases and everything, but I never, compared to other saxophone players that I transcribed, I never dare to transcribe Coltrane. You just get hit by sound, which sometimes is so strong and really hurt me, and you just you look at it, you admire that, and you just listen and try to, I don't know.
Absorb.
Yeah, absorb, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that was is common to these piano players you mentioned. They're just so special, so personal, and yeah, maybe among all these ones you mentioned, my taste. I mean, they're all
Yeah.
giants, huge giants, but my favorite, if I can say
Yeah.
favorite, is Chick. Chick
Mm.
Corea is like, for me, it's really amazing. And also his journey, like his musical journey was, I mean, but all of them, also
Yeah.
Bianco, also Kid Jarrett, and yeah, they had an incredible musical journey, which is also very inspiring, because they went through the 70s and 80s, so they were exploring many different, possibilities,
Yeah.
which also made them very, very special, very open-minded.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I
That's
love them
cool.
too. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Yeah. You spoke about students. I know that you also, on top of being a great, having a great performing career, you also teach. You teach in conservatory as well in Italy. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. I
How has teaching impacted you as an artist, and what do you think about teaching in general, and especially teaching in jazz? Like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts about it?
So first of all, I thought it was not my thing, teaching. Like a few years ago, I was like, nah, I'm never gonna teach. Nah. But as soon as I started teaching in the conservatory, I started enjoying so much. Was
Yeah.
really, I discovered that I have a big passion for that, and I think I can do it quite well, um, because uh, because let me put it well into words. I'm very specific, like.
Hmm.
mm, Jazz is a very difficult music to study, especially jazz piano. I mean, any kind of jazz, any kind of instrument. But jazz piano has many things. So you have to learn, as all the other instruments, you have to learn the timing, phrasing, the, I don't know, technique.
Harmony.
Technique. Then there is
Yeah.
the harmony. Then there is the piano solo. Then there is the comping. Then there is the comping with your left hand when you. So it's like
Yeah.
when you sit on
It's
the
a lot of
piano.
things.
Yeah, it's like, what do I study today? It's like this thing actually, for many, many years was my nightmare. I was sitting on the piano, I was like, let me study a bit of left hand, because, but then I was thinking, yeah, but how do I play this theme? Crazy. So, and it's also difficult as a teacher, to put the student on the right path, like.
Yeah.
And I met some teachers along the way that were not very helpful
Mm.
always. And I was always wishing to have like very, very clear and helpful teacher. So I'm trying to be that kind of teacher. So I'm actually, I say everything I discovered, even by myself, you know. I try to give everything to the students. And by now it's like 5 years I'm teaching. And by now, in 2 years, I'm teaching in the same school. I'm starting to see the progress of the students, and this is so incredibly beautiful. You know, I'm very, yeah. Sometimes I get emotional because I'm like, wow, you made it. You know, so it's really cool. I really love it. But jazz is a very difficult music to teach again. And I think nowadays there are not many jam sessions, which they were amazing occasions to
Yeah.
gather and to learn from the others. So now there are less and less, especially here in Italy. So kids, students, they don't have many occasions to gather together and play, and this is really changing the way they approach music. And also compared to us, I mean, we maybe ending our studies 10 years ago, something like that,
Mhm.
but was another word for me, was another word, you know. Now also with the social media, it became very individualistic way of, you know, it's
That's
just
true.
you make a video of yourself playing, and maybe you are a normal and normal you have an enormous success
Yeah.
online, but then you cannot really play with other people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like sometimes it's so strange,
Yeah.
but you know, it's also it's part of the evolution or involution, I don't know.
I think, especially with jazz, in my experience, playing with others is what matters the most. And for example, when I was in college, I remember I used to we had to book the ensemble rooms to play at, and I
Yes,
would
me
book
too.
them every day, and then randomly write on Facebook, "Hey, I got a room from 9 to 11. Who wants to come and jam?" Right?
Yes, so beautiful. Oh,
And
so
then
beautiful.
random people would come and say, "Oh yeah, I was with my friend. I brought my friend as well. He plays saxophone, whatever, you know." And then we just would just play. We just say, "Okay, what song you want to play?" And then we decide the song, and then maybe make a little arrangement on the spot. Say, "Oh, I hit this, you hit that, whatever." And it was just amazing, because you learn and you see other people's vision as well, because
Yes,
sometimes
so
when you play on
beautiful.
your own or practice on your own, you're always stuck like that, right? But then when
Yeah,
you see
yeah, yeah.
someone that, like, okay, I want to go this direction, but then they pull you down there, right? They pull you on the side. They say, okay, well, let's go and see what's there, and then you're like, oh wow, I just discovered something that I didn't know before, right? And it's
Exactly, so
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah, that was really
Yeah,
the right spirit, I think, because also jazz is like, yeah, it's gathering together, it's making
yeah,
music together, it's getting inspired by each other's ideas. But nowadays, I mean, it's not their fault. It just doesn't really happen anymore so easily as it
yeah.
used to. And I
It's
have to
true.
say that this is, I mean, and it's not to talk bad about Italy, but maybe in Italy is also especially, it doesn't really happen as in other countries.
Mm.
Also because, I mean, I see here, for instance, it's impossible to book a room because there are not many rooms with a good piano or not many rooms with a drum. So it's a lot of factors that don't help this situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it is.
Oh well, going back to your performing. I noticed in the past, I've been following you, I think, for maybe 2 years, something like that. I noticed that most of your gigs are in a trio setting.
Yeah.
Is that something that you fell in love with, and you prefer that kind of formation, and then maybe adding some guests?
Well, you know, as a piano player, I got, as I was telling you, very fascinated by piano trios. But when I was very young, I was always afraid of playing in trio because trio is very difficult, very
Yeah,
difficult, you know. So if you play with a saxophone player or like a quartet or quintet or with a singer, you are kind of, you know, you're covered a little bit. But when you play in trio, it's like it's. I'm sorry to
you're
say it because
exposed.
also the other instruments are very important, but you are. In my case, I'm the leader, so many things are on my shoulders. Let's say.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit, how do you say, brought in that direction in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning because I started to play with some Dutch musicians. They had connection with a Japanese label, so they said, "Would you like to record a CD for the Japanese?" That was my very first CD. So there was this drummer, amazing drummer called Fritz Landesbergen, and it's amazing vibraphone player too. This guy was joining the trio of Monty Alexander for many years, and this guy really encouraged me to make my own trio. And he got this contact with this label. I was like, yeah, we should do a recorded trio. And I was like, man, recording trio. And I never really played much in trio.
What was it? Wind Dance?
No, the very first was For Elvira.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the Wind Dance was like after 2 years. So I did 3 records in a row: Wind Dance, Something Blue, and For Elvira, which now so it was my very first experience in trio. And
Yeah.
also, so now I can't listen to these albums anymore. Really, I can't. I want them to disappear from the universe. And also, they asked me to sing, which I was also not really familiar with that. Anyway, so I remember I locked myself up and I was like, okay, now I have to think about something. So I arranged all these songs. I wrote a couple of songs, new songs. And when we went to the studio, it was very challenging, very difficult. But I was like, yeah, I like it, you know. And then we started to tour with this project, like always in trio. And then, you know, we went to Japan to present the CD in trio. So I started. The more I was doing it, the more I was enjoying. And also, this is also another thing, and the less I was called as a sideman.
Yeah.
Because people, they started to see, Francesca, she has her own trio, you know, she's a
Yeah.
leader, maybe.
So they
I don't
stopped
know.
calling you as a sideman, and you started becoming a leader
Yeah.
and an artist
So
yourself.
basically, it just happened, you know, because less and less people started to call me. So I
Yeah.
didn't get any call. And more I started to get called to play with my trio.
Yeah.
It just went in that direction. So yeah, that's how it went. So that's why.
Very organic. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's the
I guess
story.
that's how the best things happen, because if you force things, they're never happening in the right way, right? When it
Yeah.
happens like that organically instead, it's great.
Everything in my career went like that in the
Yeah.
music. Everything is like and I was especially in the beginning, I was observing this process and I was amazed because it seems that every little thing lead to another. For in the very beginning, I didn't know where to start. You know, I was like, okay, and then I met a person that then called me to play this gig, and then I met another, and was like, and I was observing this process, and I was like, man, it really meant to be, because things always went. I mean, not always smoothly, because I had to do a lot of hard. How do you say gavetta in?
How do you say it?
Paying the dues? No.
Yeah, I guess you had to pay your dues over the
I
years.
paid a lot of dues. You know, I played in so many different situations, bad situations, badly paid, terrible. I had to, you know, bring my own keyboard and speakers, and you know, but it was like for many years, you know, and
Yeah.
but it seemed to be part of the big picture too, you know,
It's part
gain
of the
some
process.
experience. Part of the process, I gained a lot of experience. I actually, that's, I think, one good thing I have. I can, yeah, I have a lot of working experience, you know.
Yeah.
So I can kind of function in many different contexts musically, you know. So that's something I think is good.
That's something that's very interesting as well, because if you think about it, there are many people that play great, right? That they in college, you know,
Yeah.
technique, everything, but then being a pro is
Yeah.
a totally different story, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. It's like, yeah, I think academically, maybe I was not the best student. You know, I don't know whatever. Maybe I'm not the faster reader on the planet Earth, or you know, sometimes I was not doing my homework. But one thing for sure, you put me on stage, I do my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is also a quality, you know, like, but I think I gained it with all this experience I did along the way.
I guess it matters because, you know, for example, doing gigs that don't pay you really well get you in the zone where you're like, okay, I'm not getting paid really well, but it doesn't mean that I have to play less good, you know. I don't have to play
Exactly.
worse, you know. Like even if I'm paid 50 euros or 1,000 euros, my playing has to be spot on. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. Very
And I
important
notice it,
lesson.
you know, yeah, I notice it in a lot of people that when the gig is not paid well, they don't put as much effort in. Then what I'm saying is like either don't take the gig, or if you take the gig, doesn't matter how much it pays, you have to give 100%, 110%.
Absolutely.
You know?
110%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I really totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally. It's
That's the other thing
preparation.
about preparation. That's the other thing. Like they're like, oh yeah, it's only paid 50, so I'm not gonna prepare. Well, then
No,
you're
no.
not. And
No,
you know
absolutely.
the thing is also you never know who's in the band and who's also listening. You know.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. I think.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing that we need to teach younger people that are coming out in the music industry because they think, oh yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna play great, and then I come out of college and I'm gonna play with whatever Snarky Puppy or the next big thing, you know. And it doesn't work like that. You have to pay your dues for many years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's something they don't really understand, and I think now in these matters, social media don't really help. I mean, for
Mm.
me, I got to the social media after 15 years, let's say, of playing everything and
Yeah.
anything with everybody and anybody. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then finally I got on the social media, and somehow I had this little success on Instagram, which helped me a lot in the last couple of years. Making
Hmm.
connections and improving my career. Yeah. But I got there when I already knew what was the whole thing about.
Exactly.
Some
Instead,
people,
many people happen the opposite.
yeah, but the opposite doesn't work because
Yeah.
if you are great in front of a screen, then somebody call you. Actually, that's another great lesson that a friend of mine, like an older musician friend of
Hmm.
mine, told me. It's like it's gonna one day it's gonna be your moment, but it's always in life. One day is gonna be your moment. You have to you have to be prepared for that moment. This moment should find you ready,
Yeah.
and yeah, same thing. You become a star of the web, then they call you for an important concert, you go there, but 1 hour, 1 hour and a half of music, either by yourself or with other people, requires experience. It requires a lot of studies. It's not like 30 seconds on a reel on
Yeah.
Instagram. You know what I mean? It's also a concept. It's like you need to play a concert that it has a concept, it
Yeah.
has a meaning, it has everything, it has
Yeah.
entertainment, it has variety. You should not get lost on the form. So many things. Your timing
Yeah.
should be good. It's like playing this for instance, yeah, that's like 30 seconds solo, like over the record is great, but it's not doesn't mean that you're a good musician.
You
You're a good
can do
musician
also 15 takes to get it right.
also, and but now it's like people is easily impressed by everything, and also the attention lasts less than 5 seconds, I think. So when they
Yeah.
see something fast, and me, I'm actually, I'm kind of, I know as a fact that people like to see my fast hand and my blonde hair. That's what they like. This thing, this combination for them is great.
Mm.
Okay, fine. I'm me for a concert then, and I can try to
But then you
deliver a
also
good.
have depth. You have depth, and that's
Yeah, I do my best as I always did. Like some people appreciate that, some people no, but at least I know what to do. I have my own idea for now.
yeah.
But
I think the thing that comes out of this is longevity, though, because if you wanna have longevity in your career, you also have to have depth. Because yes, social media monsters come out every other day, right?
yeah,
But then, what are you saying with that technique? What are you like? Do you have the depth to say something with your music?
yeah, exactly. The thing is that nowadays people, I think because of social media, they will be sorry to say that, but I think less and less interested in that. I think eventually.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. So again, but that's the word that moves very
How do you
fast.
think we can, in our small world, try to change that? Try to bring people back to the depth. What do you think
Uh,
is the trick?
uh, Put them in touch with yeah, their feelings, their like deepest feelings somehow. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, from my side, I try to write beautiful melodies that resonate with some deep feelings, and I would love to to give some beautiful songs, beautiful melodies that people can really appreciate. So I became not famous, but how do you say, a little bit known on Instagram
Yeah.
because I go super fast. But eventually, that's really not my purpose. You know what I mean? To be
Yeah.
fast. I just, yeah, I wanna give them, for instance, what Bill Evans gave me with "You Must Believe in Spring," and but also what Oscar Peterson gave me with another.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't know. It's a difficult question.
I think you're playing it right though, because if you attract a wide audience with what they want to hear now, then you can nurture them into
Exactly.
into what you want them to hear. You know what I mean?
That's the idea. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that concept. Very
Yeah.
very good social media strategy.
See? Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying this talk. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Me too,
I,
really.
I see that you are at the piano. I'm wondering maybe you can play something for us.
Yeah. Do you have any requests?
Well, I mean, we spoke about Bop Web. Maybe you could play something from the album or from the title track. Is
Okay.
that something? If you're
Maybe.
feeling comfortable.
Yeah, okay. No, I just thought maybe I can play a
You
melody.
decide. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you
Sorry.
want.
Actually, a little story about. I'm just gonna play the melody of the song.
Yeah.
But we talked about my the process of composing. Like then when the song just comes to me. So this song actually was the craziest thing that happened. It was really true. I was in front of a lake in Switzerland, about to start a concert. I was just looking at the lake, and this song just. I mean, I don't know how to say without sounding too zen, like to. But the song just literally came from the lake. It's like if the lake whispered it to me. It was so strange. So I
Wow.
took I took my phone, with the voice memo. So I just started to sing the melody from beginning till the end. It's like if, and then I already knew the harmony and everything. So when I finally came back home, I just took the phone, played, and the song was already there, exactly as it is now. So now I'm gonna play it for you.
That's
And
pretty
it's called
amazing.
"You and the Lake and the Moon."
Thank you. It was amazing. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Um, I guess another questions that I have, since with this kind of podcast video series, I would love to try and inspire younger people as well in to keep going with the music industry and stuff. Is Do you have any advice for people that are coming out of college? They are serious about their music. They really love playing, and they want to make a career out of it. Anything that comes to mind for people that are venturing into the music industry for the first time?
Okay, so first of all, again, social media nowadays is an important part of promoting yourself. Very important. So I think definitely they should invest in it a little bit, in the right way. I mean, not thinking that that's the only reality. Reality is the reality. That's just a platform where to show a little bit what you can do and to make connections with other people. Another thing is that this is something that I'm still working on it to have everything. How do I say in English? Do your homework, like having a good YouTube channel, still it's still related to the web, and a good Spotify channel, a good website, good pictures, like something to present yourself as an artist in a very good way. If somebody looks for you, you want them to find something good. And for me, this thing, I was struggling with this for many, many years, and still now, because as I told you, my path was really like that. So there are still a lot of things online that don't represent me anymore, and I don't really like. So if they can, they should just try, because in the end, you can nowadays. That's the great thing about nowadays. You can choose your own, to make your own image. You can make it. You can actually make it. So that's it. That's good. That is something important. And another very, very important thing, which is the most important, so beside the commercial part, I think you should have a very clear idea of which kind of an artist you want to be. And this is something I always tell my students. It's like you study music because you like music, but why? So you should ask yourself these questions, I think. If you want to be a leader, first of all, or if you want to be a sideman. If you want to be a leader, which kind of leader of which kind of band, which kind of ensemble? You want to play your own music, or which other kind of music? Which kind of show you want to offer? Why people should pay to come to your show and not to go to mine, to yours? If you want to be a sideman, which kind of band I want to play with, which kind of artists, which kind of stages I want to be, which kind of countries I want to visit. Do I want to be a touring musician, always on the road? Do I want to be a studio musician? You have to ask yourself super specific questions, like super specific. Only like this you can have an idea, you can picture yourself. I think that's the most important thing, and very few people can get to the level, like they really do this. They think, yeah, I love music, whatever happens, they call me for this, I go, they call me for that, I go, yeah. But then one day things get serious. Oh, they should at least. What you want to do, you know what I mean? And you can only know. I mean, life would bring you a little bit there, so maybe your answer would be influenced by where life is bringing you in that moment, but at least give some answers to these questions. That's my advice.
I really love this advice. It's
Yeah.
so practical and so
Right?
real. It
Yeah.
happened for me as well, exactly like this. Over the
You see?
years, I was like, I'm just gonna play whatever, just trying to pay the rent, right?
Yeah.
So I was playing all sorts of gigs, and then one day I decided I want to do theater, right?
And it happened. Oh,
Well,
but
I
also
mean,
this.
it's still happening, but
No,
slowly.
no, no. But the day you really decided,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it increased also your
Yeah.
work in that field, maybe
Yes.
because you
Yes.
become, for instance, I want to be really specialized in that.
Exactly.
You see?
Yes. It's because also, you start saying no to things that don't bring you
Yeah.
closer to that goal, right?
Exactly. It's like
So it's
you go
like,
in a good circle, like you don't even know why, but when you ask yourself these questions, you just go in that direction.
exactly,
So
exactly.
I'm glad you understand that. But it's like I really try to talk to my students almost like every lesson. I ask them at the end, I say, okay, but then what do you want to do? And they were like, I don't know, it's okay. But it's okay. I also learned it quite late,
Yeah.
but start thinking about it.
I
So
think it's important. I like that you do that because even if you don't know, the fact that you're asking the question makes you think about it at least.
already something.
Exactly. Planting the seed. Planting the
Exactly,
seed.
exactly. Planting the seed. That's
Yeah. I
yeah.
really like that. That's a great thing that a teacher can do. I think a teacher cannot do the things for you, but can put you on the right path, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I
That's
hope.
lovely.
Yeah.
And what do you have coming up? Like, do you have any cool things that you can share with us coming up? Any new records or any tours? Uh any collaborations?
Yeah, I do have a dream, but I still have to find a way to. I want to realize it very well. It's all ready, so I have like my songs arranged for string quartet and
Oh
trio.
wow!
Yeah, it's only my compositions, and I really wanna. So I would love to be the next record. I would love it to be, but I have to find a production for that. It's gonna be a little bit more complicated, and also it's more complicated to bring. But the project is there. There is a file already on my computer. It's everything done,
Wow!
and the songs are arranged by an amazing arranger, which is my good friend, called Cristiano Arcelli. He's really beautiful arranger, and yeah, he worked on my songs. So it took some time. We worked together on that, but now I have to find, of course, the way of realizing it. And regarding tour and stuff, I do have some nice trips coming. The most exciting is trip to New York. I'm gonna play New York
Oh
in July.
wow!
Yeah, so
That's
I'm very,
amazing.
very, yeah, really, I'm very excited. I'm going to Istanbul in May, which is a beautiful city. I've already been there, but I'm very happy to go. And I have few gigs here and there. And also at the end of the year, I have another tour with my Dutch trio, and
Lovely.
we will go in many places. And also we go to Stockholm Concert House, something like that. It's called. I
Nice.
know it's a very big venue, so it's a very big opportunity for me
Yeah.
to go there. So
I'm sure you will smash it like crazy.
thank you, thank you,
Well, Francesca, honestly, thanks for your time. It's been amazing. I
thank
will
you.
put all your links, in the description and stuff, so people can find your albums and obviously follow you on social media. And anything else you wanna say? Anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to discuss?
No, I think we touched all the
Yeah.
subjects that were important
Amazing. Then thank you again. Honestly, it was an immense pleasure, and I'm looking
for
forward to
me
seeing
too.
how your career unfolds. I
Thank
predict
you,
very big things for you, so I'm
thank you so
very
much.
happy. And you're a great person, so good
You
luck
too.
with
Thank
everything.
you, thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
Ciao. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.